Welcome to a journey into yoga. I'm Susan Rubenstein. Today it's simple. It's called just yoga. So what does that exactly mean? Well, we're going to work on the three components that I like to call the union of yoga. We're going to work on taking the body into a relaxed state through some yoga poses. We're going to quiet the mind from all this distraction and all the noise that surrounds us, that keeps our mind preoccupied from what we're doing at that moment. And we're going to work on breathing. Breathing in yoga is one of the most important tools that you can walk away with. So out of all three, I hope that one of them really resonates with you today. Maybe all three will. But the important thing is to think about what you're doing, to carve out this time that we've set aside to be together and to explore this beautiful art we call yoga. Yoga is safe. It can be done in so many different styles. The style I like to present, though, to you in the community is more user-friendly. Because we're not together and I don't really know exactly where you are in your yoga practice, I like to bring you things that you can possibly do if you're a beginner, or you can expand on if you're more advanced, or if you've been practicing yoga for years and years and years. But the main thing is coming back to the mat time and time again, just to center yourself, just to find that quiet time is so important. So I'm dressed comfortably. You get to really wear whatever you want in yoga that feels good, not confining. Shoes are off. If you're a little chilly, it might be a nice idea to wear socks or some type of sock legging. I've got a mat. You might find using a blanket or a pillow underneath you for seated poses, or if we happen to be on our knees, that adds a little bit of support. Have a little water with you. Make sure that you feel good today. Sometimes it's just nice to sit and listen and breathe throughout the whole practice that I'm teaching. And sometimes it's nice to participate. Also, an important thing is to rule out any potential health risks. So if you're brand new, you've never tried yoga before, it might be a good idea the next time you go see your doctor or before, just to mention, I'm thinking about doing a yoga practice. What do you think of that? Ruling out potential health risks such as high blood pressure, heart disease, because then there's certain modifications that you would want to think about, and you might be able to find a practice that's designed for you. So with that being said, let's just start with connecting with our bodies. So let's find a way to sit. My ankles are crossed. You can choose how you want to do that. Again, maybe build up through support. Just going to reach underneath my buttocks flesh, draw the skin out, find the sits bones so I'm rooted down into the earth. Now, as I set my hands against my knees, I'm going to open my palms just to allow energy to come in through my fingers. These are energy receptors. Now, as I close my eyes, I'm going to create a mantra. So something that I can say to myself and you can say to yourself to remind you to stay present and to be sitting right in the center of your mind without distraction. So the one mantra that I like to use, and I use it on the mat, I try to use it in my daily life, I try to use it when I spend time with my family, and that is, I am content just as I am. I am content just as I am. 7 words. So we'll quietly think about that. I am content just as I am. So notice yourself begin to shift and become more present with your body. And then begin to notice your breathing. We're just here to observe, not judge. We notice how the breath comes in, how the breath goes out. We concentrate on allowing that breath to feel full and comfortable in our belly, as if we're blowing up a balloon when we inhale, when we expand. While through an exhale, the navel recedes back, touching upon the spine. And we feel this settling down. We feel ourselves root down into what we call the sits bones, what we've planted ourselves on. We find the ease in our breath. So the body, the mind, and the breath create the union. The union of yoga. As you draw your lips together, you might hear a more enhanced sound or feel a vibration against the back of your throat. This might take you into what we call pranayama, breath control, a deeper practice into the breath, or ujjayi breath, a victorious sound. So there's so many different terms and words and ways to breathe, but the main thing is to find one that feels relaxing, safe, and doesn't create any unnecessary stress within the body. Think about breathing from your belly up into your ribs, softly across your chest. Finding the contentment just as you are. So we'll carry the breath with us as we move into our yoga practice. So as we inhale, we're going to carry the arms slowly up. Let your chin rise, your eyes brightly open. Exhale, lower the fingers down. Inhaling again, thinking about blowing up that balloon, reaching high towards the sky. Exhaling. Inhaling once again, reaching high. Exhaling. 2 more times, deep breath in. Exhaling. 1 more time, we take the fullness of the breath. We reach all the way up and exhale. Now begin just to slide your hands out in front of you. Place your hands flatly to the ground. So if you open up your hands, you'll look down and you'll see a 5-pointed star. Settle your shoulders. Feel that sense of drawing your belly muscles in and breathing. So we're just making a slow connection with body, with the awareness of what we're doing. So we're quieting the mind and our breath. Feel how the spine lengthens. So we're extending out from the pelvic bowl, yet we're still rooting down into the hips, into the sits bones. And then inhale, reach the arms up. A little bit of core strength. Change the cross of the legs. Take the arms down. A little bit of side stretching. So just moving from one side to the other, letting the breath kind of stay present wherever you're going. We think about space between each breath. And so the breaths are not short. They can last anywhere from 5 to 7 seconds on both ends. But that might take time to build up to. The main thing is not to have a shallow breath. I always say anything under 3 seconds is more of a shallow breath. But that, that might be the way that you've been breathing for a while. So it'll take time to kind of shift and change the approach. And then come back through center. This time we're going to reach up and then we're going to spill out, all the way out with our hands, broaden the collarbones, enough space to set the shoulders down and carefully move my head from side to side. Oh, this feels good. And then relax the head. Walk your hands out in front. Stay up on your hands. And then just begin to reach one hand out. Extend. So a smooth rotation. Extending back through your fingers. Breathing in. As we breathe out, hand comes down. Take another full breath in. Open to the other side. And then come down. Now this time slide your hands up towards your body. Breathe in. And now we're going to take a twist. So a nice slow turn we're turning. Hips still face forward as we're lifting the chest. We spin around. So that midsection we carry around, fingertips down. We can always turn the head, look behind us, taking in the view. So you might be practicing in a room that you spend a lot of time in, yet for the first time today you notice something new. Or try to just focus on something you enjoy seeing in that room, a color, a picture, a texture, the sunlight, or even the evening light coming in, whatever time of day it is. And then inhale, open through center, lift the heart space up, little rise up through the ribs, and then as we soften the shoulders, exhale, twist around, find your way. Opening up, inhaling. Now, one of my favorite stretches is for my shoulders. So you want to bring your arms in as if you're giving yourself a hug, but we're going to stack the arms and then vine the arms together. If that's a little tricky, you can always just bring your hands and your elbows together. Now, we take a deep breath in, and as we're moving the arms to one side, we look in the opposite direction. This feels so good. And then wandering over and coming around to the other side. And then coming through center. And then now look, remember which arm is on top. And now change that. Put that arm on the bottom. Shoulders down. Press out into the forearms. Move the arms in one direction. Look in the opposite. Come back through center. Turn to the other side. Come back through center. Beautiful. And then just take your arms out. Loosen up your shoulders. So now I'm going to turn, extending my legs out in front of me. Nice and long. So again, I find the sits bones. We want to think about stacking the shoulders right up over the hips. Now, scooping the belly in, fingertips just lightly to the ground. I'm just going to alternate, bringing my knee up towards my hips, towards my chest. But the main thing here is not to sit in a curved spine. You want to have a chair back, right? So imagine you're sitting in a chair with a nice strong back. Lots of support. Now, as I'm bringing my leg in, turning my knee out slightly. So if there's any tension in the hip, this can help alleviate it. Do that a couple more times. So yoga has different components. There's the still side where we pause in a pose. And then there's the fluid side where we flow. And then lowering the leg down, I want you to take a deep breath in. Now we're going to find a forward fold. So for you, a forward fold might be right here. Or maybe here. Or maybe you're reaching out and you're hooking onto your big toes, maintaining that neutral spine. We breathe in. We breathe out. And then slowly come back up, inhaling. Stick a little twist, spin around, lengthening. Now extend your arm back. See if that feels good. We can even do the opposite arm as well. And then come around, inhale, lift up tall, extend, and reach. Coming through center. Now, I love this to open up my hips. So bend your left knee, right leg is long. We're going to sit up nice and tall, take a deep breath in, and then start to walk forward. Again, it might be here, it might be here, it might be wrapping your hands around your foot. And feel free if you want to just put something around the bottom of your foot. A yoga strap, or a tie, even a towel. A dish towel is sometimes a great idea. Shoulders down. We're opening through this left hip. And you can even add a little bit of resistance against the top of the thigh, holding that leg down, especially if your hip's a little tight, as long as this feels okay. Make sure your yoga practice feels friendly and inviting. And then come up, revisit the other side. And then we walk forward, create space, breathe, and maybe a little resistance against the thigh. So some days you love a yoga practice that's filled with movement and flow, and we call this vinyasa, where we're standing and doing our sun salutations, and that's wonderful. I love practices like that. But then some days I need something a little more calm, maybe a little more time in a pose. My body might just be asking for that for whatever reason. You got to listen to your body. It's amazing what it can communicate to you. We don't always necessarily need to push, push, push. We need to find that balance. And sometimes we need the opposite. A little too much relaxation can get us a little complacent, where we need to wake ourselves up and get a little energy going. All right, so we've been doing some great seated poses that I want you to really think about doing from time to time. And just move my pack out of the way. I'm going to take you down onto your back now, all right? So we're going to lie down. Now, one of my favorite stretches for the hips, again, is the reclining pigeon. So I brought the left leg up, placed the ankle on top of the right thigh, foot is flexed. Now, you may want to start right here, or you want to lift your foot off the floor, thread your hands behind the thigh, or sometimes people like to bring their hands below the knee. The main thing is we stop to really think about opening this hip and breathing. Head stays down. We want to try to relax the shoulders down. The important thing is not to lift the head. Just let that breath flow naturally. So usually we hold a pose in yoga, an average of 3 to 5 breaths. All right, so we're going to lower the leg down. Now I want you to take this leg that was bent, extend it up, point your toe, and just do some small circles. Go in one direction 5 times and then reverse it, moving through your hip socket. So movement creates a lubrication in the joints. So we say the phrase that motion, which is what we're doing now, is lotion for your body. So think about it. When you feel stiff, there's not a lot of lubrication or motion in there. So when we move, all of a sudden we notice we feel better. Hopefully you got both sides. And then take this leg down. Good. Take both legs out, take a nice deep breath in, big stretch, reach your arms back. Let's take a moment to slide one or both legs in, hug them into your chest, stretching out your lower back. This feels good right here. Slight lift of your tail. Good, now take the other leg down, the left foot, put your right ankle on, open the hip, take a full breath in, and then exhale, gradually lift the leg up. And breathe. So in those quiet moments, it's the perfect time to practice quieting your busy mind. And you'll know when it's busy. All of a sudden you'll have this thought of, ooh, where have I been? I'm definitely not in the moment. You might be thinking of something that happened yesterday. You might be thinking of something that's happening later on. You might be thinking of something that will never happen. It's normal for all of us. So let's slide the foot down, extend the leg, circle around. But the main thing is to keep inviting yourself back to the present, into the moment, and think, here I am, just doing some yoga, just yoga. And remember that yoga is a practice. We're learning. We're constantly evolving in our yoga practice. There really isn't an end. There is not an exam at the end for the perfect pose, because your practice will change as you change. And again, like we talked about, different days you'll want different things. All right, let's begin to slide the foot down, take both legs out, take a full breath. Now, this one I love to stretch the extensors of the spine. We just alternate bringing knee into the chest. And we'll just keep that motion going. Back and forth. How good does that feel? Oh. Oh, yeah. One more. Now this time, scoop both knees in. Good. Now, open your arms to a T. We're going to drop the knees stacked together to one side. As we do that, extend your arms out to a T. Keep your head relaxed. Try just to let the head fall into a natural position. So what feels good to you right now? Twists are wonderful to neutralize the spine and the nervous system. It helps to wring out tension in our backs. You might find you want to extend this top leg out a little bit more, flexing through the foot, maybe even reach for the foot and stretch what we call the IT band right here to the outside of the hip, streaming down towards the knee. So in yoga, there are poses within poses, or shapes within shapes. Bend the knee. Now, walk your feet or scoop your belly in. Take it over to the other side. Same thing. And then maybe extend, reaching out for that foot might feel really good. In my teaching of fitness, I use my legs a lot. And I'm also a runner, so anytime I can get a nice stretch from my hips, from my hamstrings, from my ITs, I take it. Good. All right, so we're going to come back to center. Set your feet onto the floor. Now, we're going to move through a little bit of fluid bridge. So I love this one too, to bring some energy to the body. Feet, walk up towards hips, knees, feet in a comfortable stance. You might want to walk your feet out. You want to bring them in. We're going to start with our arms coming up overhead, fingers together like blades. And then as we exhale, we create a gentle pelvic tilt. Lower the arms down, keep the head down, lift the hips to the sky. And this way we open the ribs. And then slowly coming down, create tone in your body, in your muscles. And then come up again. So do that a handful more. And then as we take this last one up, we're going to pause, right? So as we pause right here, we're just going to hold ourselves in position. You might want to walk your feet closer, open them out wider. We might even want to walk our shoulder blades in, lace the fingers together, and then feel that sense of reaching. Now, another way that I like to do this pose is take my thumbs, slide my hands right underneath, and lift up right here through my ribs, keeping the belly in, and then feeling a nice arch through the spine. So I like to do this as my supported bridge. But again, you can always just let yourself go. So again, 3 to 5 breaths, maybe a little bit longer. Maybe walk your feet up a little bit more and come up higher. So there's never just an end in a pose. There's always that time to kind of play. Lowering down. Let's come into happy baby. Breathing. Just taking a few moments here to breathe. Good. All right. Now, let's just gently roll over onto our stomachs. We're going to come up into Sphinx pose. So walk your elbows right underneath your shoulders, hands out, legs are nice and long. Shoulder blades slide in and down as we take the shoulders back. And then when we lift through the heart space, we just keep the head neutral. I love this one because I feel a wonderful stretch in my spine, but my abdominal muscles are working as well. And if that feels good to you and you want to go deeper, come up into what we call seal. Take a deep breath in and then start to lower yourself down. Good. Now make a pillow with your hands. Rest your forehead, bend your knees, sway your feet side to side. Relax your legs. Slide your hands underneath your shoulders. Scoop your belly in, take a deep breath in, and then come back into extended child's pose. So start to work your way back. Drop your forehead down. This might be your Shavasana today. This might be your relaxation. And then slowly, either stay in here, this position, or come up. Let's take a deep breath in, arching back, and then release. So we're going to take it around, come down onto our back, and quietly rest. So again, you can always choose another option. You might want to come up and do the seated practice we did in the beginning. So when I close my eyes, I like to rest my hands on my belly for relaxation. I invite you to do the same. We'll take a deep breath in. And as I take you into relaxation, I just want to thank you now for this time that you've set aside for yourself. So remember the union, nourishing your body, quieting your mind, and awakening your breath. So again, we recite, I am content just as I am. And as we go into our state of relaxation and feel the body begin to settle into the earth, imprint this feeling. Remind yourself that each and every day should be filled with self-care, self-love, and mindfulness, the art, the practice of being in the moment. Thank you for joining me. I'm Susan. Namaste.
Funding for Simsbury Community Television is provided in part by contributions from viewers like you. Thank you.